Here we go, gang. The landscape is changing. Every year it changes a little bit. Things are moving around. Climate change, global warming, all that fun stuff you don't want to talk about is altering landscapes throughout the wine industry. Every vineyard, whether it's in Burgundy, Bordeaux, Tuscany, you name it. Everything's shifting, right? And today's wine is one of those poster child wines for that shift. Very exciting wine. So from one of our favorite unheralded producers, hopefully our competition doesn't watch this video because we've been having a nice little run with these wines all to ourselves. This is Borgogno, but not the Borgogno that a lot of people in Barolo might know. There's the Borgogno, like located downtown Barolo. Famous old school traditional house. Now I think partially owned, at least by, or fully owned by the Italy group or something like that. Now it's a much more important concern, making super classic wines. No, this is the other Borgogno, and that's why it's our little secret weapon. This is Serio, a Battista Borgogno, multi-generational Borgogno family as well, located just like the other Borgogno family in the town of Barolo. But here, you know, their whole thing, and the wines that we've sold for a number of years from them, have been their wines from the famous Canubi Cru. Canubi is a Grand Cru site in Barolo, one of the greatest Nebbiolo vineyards on the planet, and these guys own a healthy chunk of it, and they always charge a fair price for the wine. So we do huge business, usually with the Borgogno Canubi Cru. Well, this year, stuff be moving around, man. So now we have their regular Barolo, or what we call their Barolo Classico. We're not allowed to say Normale anymore. Normale is a bad word. Don't say Normale, or an Italian will kick you in the jimmy. It's not Normale, it's Classico. Classico. The Barolo Classico from Borgogno. Now the key thing here is these guys are mostly in Canubi, but as with a lot of the classic multi-generational concerns in Barolo, they've hedged their bets and they have vineyards in other areas as well. So traditionally, they didn't use much, if any, Canubi in their Barolo Classico, and instead sought out vineyards in Novello, which is further south. And Novello is starting to get a little run right now, right? The famous Ravera vineyard is in Novello, very popular now. You got Vietti doing Ravera and Scavino and all these guys. It's a cru on the come up, which 20 years ago, 30 years ago, this was a cru that was like, oh, you own some vineyards in Novello. That's cute. I'm sorry, region, not cru. You own some vineyards in the Novello area. That's good for you, right? And the rest of Barolo will be like, oh, look at you making Barolo. Well, again, that's all changing. These vineyards are coming on strong. That extra Celsius degree or two has put ripening into a different realm in these vineyards, where sometimes Canubi can maybe almost sometimes get too rich now. The wines of Novello are turning into this just right proposition, as are the vineyards in Verduno with Monviliero, and these less heralded crus of the past all of a sudden are something special. So this wine comes from, I think, 2 separate parcels in Novello that the family's owned for a little while, not a long time. These vines were planted in the 1990s, as opposed to the Canubi vineyards, which I think are a bit older. But still, we're talking 30-year-old vineyards here. And in 2019, a great vintage for Barolo and a great vintage for Nebbiolo. This wine is a complete home run. So the key here is accessibility. Novello always kind of gave you accessibility, sometimes maybe like in a little herbal way or without the gravitas of the great sites. But now things are changing. So now when you taste a Barolo from the Novello area, the wine's got more chutzpah, right? It's got more vibe, it's got more intensity, greater definition of flavor, and a lot of times more complexity. And this was borne out in Monica Larner's tastings this year for 2019 Barolo, where she actually scored Borgogno's Barolo Classico a point higher than the Canubi. Like, that never happens, right? You got this hierarchy thing, you taste all the wines, you go, okay, 95, 94, 92, 90, whatever, Not this year. Not this year. And I can see why. This wine's beautiful transparent hue, the delineation of flavor, the fact that the 19s are a bit structured, maybe a bit like 8 or 13, those types of vintages, but there's a pleasing aspect to this wine and an ease to this wine while delivering complexity. And what that does is it gives you like the full Nebbiolo experience. The tar, the roses, the sweet leather tones, they're all there. The strawberry, the cherry, it's all there. But in this wonderfully accessible platform that also delivers complexity. What a wine. 35 bucks, man. 94 points. Big number from Advocate. And for the price, a ridiculous number. And a well-warranted number. Again, no new oak here, super old school, big barrels, classic Nebbiolo from a great vintage from the other Borgognos. Maybe now no longer a little personal secret. It's yours now. Cheers.